With guys out of the lineup, it means opportunities for other players, and it seems like you've really taken advantage of that. How much of that is built into your game mentality, kind of filling the voids, I guess?
Yeah, I think I just try to play the same way every night, and then if you're going to play more minutes, you have kind of more opportunity to get into the game and get a bit more feel, and it kind of just goes from there.
It seems to be working for you in terms of points produced. Is that a good measure for you?
Not really, no. I think the more you play, the more opportunity you have to get points. I don't think it's a measure of how good you're playing necessarily all the time. It certainly is at some points. I think if I play well and I play more, the more points I will get, and that seems to be what's going on.
So that leads me right into the next one, which is obvious. How do you measure when you're playing well and when you feel like you're contributing in a way that you want to?
Yeah, I think it's more about a feel. I mean, it's not necessarily about points. It's kind of about it's making plays and how you feel when you're making them. That's kind of like how you measure. I think it's kind of hard to describe it. I think everyone here has been playing hockey for a long time. They know whether or not they're playing well. If you have the puck on your stick and then after it leaves your stick, it's still on your team's stick, that's probably a good play. And the more you do that, the more you guys are going to have the puck. So,
Do we make too much of a big deal out of, a guy like Z's out of the lineup, so other people have to pull tighter and pull together a little bit more? Do we make too much out of that? Is it just, as you said earlier, you guys have all been playing hockey for a long time, so you just go out and play?
I mean, you can't discount how big of a part of the team Z is. A guy like that who carries a lot of minutes for your team, it is a big deal having him out. I think depending on the depth of your team, it can make a difference, how that kind of affects everything. Some teams, I mean, like last year, for example, we had how many guys out, and we were losing games, and I would just look at other teams around the league, when they have like one or two guys out, they're like, oh boy, like this can be a tough night. So it depends on your depth, and it depends on kind of who's the next man up, I think. But I think we're kind of ready to take on those minutes.
And how does that impact your mindset as you go into a game?
Yeah, I think not a ton. I think knowing that you're going to probably have the ability to impact the game more, just with more minutes and more opportunity is a nice thing to sit on. That's kind of the extent of that.
Yeah.
With your injury a season ago, we've talked with some guys, take some time just when you miss so much time to get your game back to where you want it to go and get the feel back and things like that. Do you feel like you kind of had to build throughout the season and there was a little bit of kicking the rust off, but now that you played more minutes, you feel pretty good?
Yeah, I felt like I didn't really have any rust, to be honest with you, when I started this season. Just the way I think I prepared kind of over the 10 months that I was hurt. Different ebbs and flows kind of since the start of the season, and at this point I'm feeling pretty good. So.
Yeah. And you've played with a number of different guys this year. Do you think that versatility is something you bring to the table? Do you feel like you've been able to really quickly be able to mesh with different players you've played with on the defensive pairs?
I suppose. I think you can't really tell if that's something you bring to the table if you don't play with one guy the whole time. So, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, there's some guys out of the lineup, Tex. How much do you, when you get in there, want to kind of help fill that void a little bit for some of the guys who are not around right now?
Yeah, obviously we have some guys out of the lineup, but I think the guys are in the lineup are doing a pretty good job. I mean, we try to, earn the ice time and try to get some wins, and I think we played some pretty good games. We've got to find a way to win hockey games, but been doing a good job.
Yeah, it's about opportunity, right? And how do you make the most of the opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's all about that, and I would say in every sports, when you get a chance, someone is out, it's bad for your team, but someone else is gonna take the job, and he has to do the job, and when you get those chances, you gotta be ready, and you gotta take it, and I think for some of the guys, we got to do it too. Yeah.
What does more ice time and more opportunity mean for you? How does that maybe help you get into your game a little bit more, or whatever?
Yeah, obviously you always want to play more and play those big minutes, but at the same time you got to earn it, and you got to play good hockey, but consistently, and for me and for our line, whatever we're gonna be on the ice, we're gonna try to give our 100% and earn this trust from the coaches.
We were talking to Jake about this earlier, and he said, you know what, we're all hockey players. At the end of the day, it's just going out and playing your best game of hockey, right? Is that kind of the mindset that you have to go into it with?
Yeah, obviously, at the end, just a hockey game. You gotta have fun, and we don't have to think too much. I think when we play our best is when we trust the process, and we're good on the forecheck. We've been skating, we're fast, and when we play like that, I think we're a pretty good team, and we gotta just figure out the small details of the game. We will. I think we're in the way, in a good way, and but it's fun. It's just a hockey game. You play the sport that you like since you're young, and you just wanna. You're in the NHL, so you just enjoy it.
Yeah, just let instincts take over?
Yeah, obviously. I think, for me, when I think too much and, it's not my game. I like when I more free, relax, and just having fun, try to help the team and do some move on the ice, talk, smile, and jokes, and all those stuffs. And I think that makes your team closer, and it feels good. You feel good about yourself, yeah.
When you have guys out like you do, key guys out, how much of your messaging to your team is that you need people to step up, or do they just that's automatically part of what they're doing, right? They know they got to step up and give a little more.
I don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't even I don't want to hear that as an excuse. I really don't. It's we all know who's out. You don't replace Zach Werenski right now. You don't replace Boone Jenner, but we all know it. So that's the thing that I don't want to use that before the game starts. That okay, it's going to be harder because those guys are not in the lineup. I don't want to hear that as an excuse. Do we have enough players to play a hockey game, and are we going to give our best, and are we going to stick with the plan and give the other team a good run at it? And that's it. It's hard, and we understand it. But as far as approaching the team, we don't change a thing.
And you look for guys who are like chomping at the bit to grab that opportunity.
Well, yes, and that's a fair question, because when you face that kind of challenges, you're observing who's going to take the ball and run with it. Because as much as it's harder not to have those guys in the lineup, it's also a real good. Those moments are really good to evaluate who's going to step over and step up. And then when those guys are coming back, then you're just a little bit better. Some guys have shown a little bit more leadership, more ice time, more of different things, and now you're in a better position. I mean, you don't want to get injured, you don't want to get your team to be sick or anything like that, because we have both right now, but at the end of the day, it's a good evaluation for our team.
We've talked numerous times over the course of the season about how much opportunity to give some of the younger players as they find their way. Does this change the approach on that at all? Do you give more opportunities because there are more opportunities to give?
Well, the last two games we've been rolling pretty much. You look at the ice time; it's close to being even, depending on the special teams. But we're rolling all of our bench and all players, and we want to give them an opportunity to grow. But there's a line there. There's a line. If you don't work hard, that's a no-no. I mean, there's no question asked. You're not doing your job. You need to earn your ice time by working hard. And if I understand the mistakes that are being done because of a read or inexperience, I can live with that. We'll coach. But lack of work, it's not flying.
Yeah, I see Adam Boquist out there skating. He's
close.
Must be getting closer.
Yeah, very close, very close. We're excited to have him back soon. He was really good for us. Yeah.
And any other injured guys? How are they in their progression? I know you've got a number of them. Have anybody taken another step?
No. Well, we're weeks away. Laine, Corrali, Boone Jenner, Zach Werenski, we're weeks away.
For tonight, Chinnikov and Provorov, I guess they missed practice yesterday. Are those guys both healthy, feeling better?
Game time decision. Yeah.
I guess it's hard to answer that question if those guys are a game time decision, but do you anticipate any lineup changes?
Well, we'll see. But Olivier's coming back in, and Tarasov will start the game. So these are for sure. Everything else is we're going to see and adjust.
Do you have to rely on Nick Backstrom a lot as far as when you got 3 goalies in a situation like this? Do you have more conversation with him as far as the goalies go, just because of the nature of having 3?
Yeah, well, we spend quite some time having 3 goalies. So this is the funny part. It's not funny, but it's the weird part. We spend a lot of time talking about who's going to back up, and usually it takes a minute and a half, right? But we know who's going to play. We have a plan, and the plan can always change, but we have a plan in mind. So Daniel's playing tonight, but we spend an awful lot of time on who's going to back up, and that's the situation that we're in, and that's fine.
So who's going to back up tonight?
Spencer. Yeah, but we can talk about it for 10 minutes if you want to.